from, but I know what that culture's like. On the flip side, everyone knows I'm a bit of a LATAM fan. So this is a really difficult one for me because we're looking at Team Liquid. I mean, there's not much more, LATAM than Team Liquid, is there really? And they're going up against a team such as Wild. A very big undertaking for Wild here today. And I'm certainly intrigued to see how it all plays out. Kicking things off on Skyscraper, it was mentioned on the desk. What a strange old map to be starting things out on. I think if you'd have given me 9 guesses, I wouldn't have come up with Skyscraper.
Certainly not the case. And Skyscraper as well still remains a bit of a rarity inside of our games, despite it being added towards the beginning of the year after SI. Ban's already going through, and so far no huge surprises. Zofia going to be an interesting one, though, specifically for Wild there, knocking out something a little bit more comfortable for Team Liquid. But as we go to the Defender bans, things resume normality as we end up with a Mira and Cade ban to round out this first map.
Maverick there to kick things off as well. So I think the Zofia ban, you've got to look at that and you've got to go, there's only one person you're looking at with that. You're looking at Nesk, right? Nesk is known for what he's able to do on Zofia. And of course, with Zofia LMG meta currently, anyone with an LMG is going to be someone that you're going to look to bring. How much of an impact it will have, we will have to see. Rounded out toward the other bans, Mira, Cade. Leaves a Valkyrie open, a little bit of option there for a bit more information. Plenty of hiding spots on Skyscraper to squirrel away that little bits of utility.
All right, so we're through the pick phase here. We'll see, obviously, once again, we'll have attacker repick here, so still a possibility that Wild can change up a few of their offers. We can start to look at things. No surprises on the initial site selection here as well. Liquid going to go directly into Tea Room and Karaoke. This is the starting point that we've seen a lot of other teams go to for this map, as it still tends to be the easiest to control the overall area, especially as you get down to that final 20 or 15 seconds of the round.
Starting off on defense here for Liquid, it is going to be a little bit of a sort of pace setter to see just how aggressive Wild are going to be here. Obviously, they removed the Maverick, so that does deny a little bit of breaching. That's going to throw things like Bandit into a little bit of relevancy. Obviously, with Thatcher still open, that still leaves a bit of a question mark over it. But we are going to have that little bit of balance here with PSK rocking the Bandit, and of course, Cameo rocking that Thermite.
So getting into it here, Wild going to start to make their first entries. They begin to move forward, clearing out the barbecue area of the map and trying to move a little bit more forward from there. The depth charge going to come out here, going to be a little off the base, though. Liquid still moving around a bit too much. So Corey not going to be able to catch anyone here. Ask, in the meanwhile, is nearly caught, I believe, via another play. Corey might be the one to take him down, but either way, that'll be the smoke on the floor here very early on in the round. We'll have to wait and see if Liquid will be able to bring him back up to keep that utility in check for later on. Liquid overall, though, playing things quite aggressively. And the good news is we can see the smoke has gone down fairly close to the site. Oh no, Resets is going to get picked off here as well, though. So Liquid struggling to maintain their player presence here as they go for an aggressive stance on the first round.
Those nades from below really paying dividends there for Wild here. They've done a lot of damage, and Aces got himself into a bit of a dangerous position. We're going to see more nades start to fly in. Ask has been rezzed, so those very important Toxic Babe canisters are going to start to come out now, but it's not likely going to be enough. Aces picks off Ask, and that will put an end to those Toxic Babes. Palu does manage to steady the ship. The man count is still going to be in the favor of Wild, though. Everyone just taking a moment to breathe. Ace's aggressive play was a little bit solo. Just waiting for his team to back him up there might have yielded a slightly better result.
Lots of prowess coming in and lots of confidence from Wild here up until this point, due to the play being made by both Corey as well as Aces here. But it's all come to a halt now, as you said, just taking a moment to breathe here. Seems like they still have a plan in the works. The smokes end up coming down directly on the inside of Karaoke. Where's the play potential going to come from, though? And it might be on the swing, and in fact, there we go. But you still have PSK waiting around the corner with an easy capability to shut this down. Nesk will also grab from down below, being able to take him down, but still, the plant will succeed. Wild will get it onto the ground. Kadeo as well will strike once more, as does Corey, bringing it all into one remaining player from Liquid. PSK in the 1v3, and he will not be able to maintain, so what?
Everything you could look for there in a great setup and a great execute.
So we'll see if Liquid now tries to cool things off a little bit to maintain better control over the situation. We're going to see a bit more mitigation added into this as well. PSK, for instance, onto the Bandit to throw those batteries down and block out the walls. Palu wants to be able to try and play through the smoke as well as the flash entries a little bit more as well. He'll go onto the Warden for that. Resets also going to bring the laser gates into the fold also in an attempt to slow things down a bit further. Only really had the smoke to try and pull it off on the previous round, and obviously that didn't turn itself into enough. A bit of a miracle that the smoke even made it to a late point, and they're not conceding considering he had been down via those nades from below earlier on, but thankfully they were able to bring him up. Still, had to play very cautiously, though, due to the low HP. And ultimately had to move himself back from that. So getting into round 2, we've got Wild spawned out. Let's see what they can show us for the second assault. Karaoke and T-Room. They're also going to bring Ying in for Corey to change up their own execute strategy a little bit.
Something that really impressed me about Wild and the way that they approached it was this ability to get kills from outside to in, and Corey's going to do exactly that again. We're seeing a heavy stack up as Wild storm their way on through. Giesler picks himself off one onto Palu. Nesk steadies the ship, finding one of his own, but already a plant is going down. Nesk picks up a second, leveling out the man count advantage, but that diffuser is going to be planted. All of a sudden, a retake. We've barely even seen a minute, Blue.
Wild throwing everything and the kitchen sink at this execute here, and yes, it does indeed cost them a few players, but things are kept on a relatively even keel, and Wild will be finding this quite acceptable considering they've gotten their plant down onto the ground. Ace is reading into the barbecue stair rotation as well here, but having trouble maintaining the presence. We will see, however, Jay quickly trading things back out, able to take down Nesk and bring it back into a 2v2. You'll also note Reset's incredibly low here. He's gonna have to be careful, but it's Jay again to pop back out, take out Resets, and leave it all on PSK once more. Inside of the 1v2, already with heavy damage thrown at him. He will not be.
Plays. Doesn't get much more explosive than a Ying plant coming through. 4 players storming through a breach and already fragging out and getting the job done. Wild doing such a great job in not only the early part of the round, but that utility usage. And for as long as they're going to do it, we're going to have to praise it.
Right, so Wild off to a hot start here, looking to continue it. Already is 1 round away from locking in the guaranteed tie at halftime here, and obviously going to look to try and push it a bit further than that with the way they've been able to control these rounds so far. Liquid finally having enough of the play inside of T-Room. Won't go for a third repeat on that. They do want to try and get a bit more rotation going here. We have seen a lot of teams employing a strategy of even if they lose that first site hold, still moving around their usual 3-site rotation so that if things don't go well in those first 3 rounds, they can take a pause, get input from their out-of-game leadership as to how they might need to change things after those sites have been played for one time. So this may be part of the reason why Liquid move away from it. Let's be honest as well, things are just not going too well in that T-Room hold. Wild, with their aggression, have been able to burst past it 2 times in a row now. So Liquid wants to see if things will go a little bit better for them on the other side of the map.
Slightly slower start here from Wild, as we've been used to some quite aggressive entries from them up until this point. The Thatcher action coming in here from Corey as well, just to help guarantee that these breaches do get opened. This is the nice thing about Wild. It's not as if they're just a one-trick pony right now, Blue. They're doing everything right. You know, they've played a sort of very medium-paced round in round number 1. They've played a very quick round in round number 2. And already we're floating in and around the medium to slow style of round now, and it just shows that level of comfort they've got in being able to meet whatever sort of criteria they wish in the round. We're going to see Aces now start to push himself up these back stairs, greeted by a couple of castle barricades. If you feel like the going's getting tough and you feel like you're getting pushed up against quite quickly, who better than Castle to bring to try and slow down that roll?
Great varieties coming in so far from Wild. I'm going to look to continue to innovate on that as they look to try and lock in things for a 3rd round. Still going to be caught outside of the building for a bit here. Not as much confidence as we've seen play into the previous rounds, but this has all been part of the design, it seems, to get that slow clear going, as you can even see progress being made on the upstairs part of the map. Nesk going to start to lurk around here, though, over by the roof side. Wait to see if he can maybe catch some of these players as they continue to move forward. Indeed, will probably be the first one to get a challenge. Had some support from another teammate a bit closer, but I believe they just got droned out. So that's going to leave Nesk a bit off on an island over here towards Drums.
Nesk is one of the only players on the side of Liquid that's been credited with multiple kills so far. Everyone else has only had 1 in Palu and Reset, so he's really being relied upon here for a large share, and he's going to grab one there onto Jay. I believe that's the first time we're going to see Liquid actually draw first blood here. Wild have previously been very successful on that entry. Players like Corey really leading that charge. It's going to be Cameo to battle one back, as Nesk will be next to fall. Instantly traded, still 45 seconds left, and with 4 players alive on either side, you can see that Liquid are really trying to reserve themselves in the site, but those crossfires are there, Blue, and they're doing damage.
Wild seems ready to take these duels now that they've reached the midpoint of their strategy here. A little bit of a trouble getting themselves to this point, especially with how they had to knock out Nesk, but it might be coming together now in the final minute of this round. Second kill has been confirmed as PSK goes fully down. You still have the damage that was done to Palu a few moments ago as well. Gisela going to take a considerable amount also, so Liquid are holding on to an extent, but you can see they're struggling for positioning right now. Just nowhere to play into here as Gisela as well as Kaneo pick up 2 more kills, resets. Now the lone man alive here for Liquid as they try to control the 1v3, but it's going to be so tough. A good start, however, for resets, but it gets so troublesome past this point. Not going to have the benefit of that angle he used previously. Has to go in. This is really the only route he has to re-entry as well. And Gisela just sitting, waiting, pick something up for themselves. Let's get into it though and see. And indeed, we are going to see them continue to move. They're going to go down to barbecue now for this 4th site hold.
Bomb located by attackers.
Liquid feeling like there is no benefit to revisiting a site they have previously been to. They really need to try and find something entirely new and fresh here. Something that they've been struggling with is the up nades. The nades have been very effective from Wild, so what better way to combat that than, well, we're going to go to somewhere that you can't throw some up nades. We're going to go to somewhere that there is no beneath, there is no below this site. But instead, you've got to turn your attention vertically. Attacker repicks a thing. And what are we seeing? We're seeing a little bit of soft breach being brought in as well. We've, of course, got the sledge. The thermites instead being switched out. And we're going to see a little bit of a role swap there between Cameo and Corey as well, as they just swap Thatcher for Hard Breacher. The Dokkaebi comes in from Aces. So that goes to show they're really looking to try and nail down this roam game.
I like the Dokkaebi pick specifically for what you just mentioned there, trying to lock out players like Nesk, who did slow them down, took about 30 seconds to a minute off of the clock for Wild, and prevented them from getting back into that office site a little bit more quickly than they would have liked to. So hopefully going to be able to make improvements on this as they look to set themselves up. And then once they reach a bit more of a risky point in the round, they can easily deploy one of those 2 phone calls just to reassure that there's no one in the area. Palu might be the first one to meet a challenge from the inside of Geisha as well. We'll have to follow up with that a little bit later on in the round. Ask is going to do something similarly from the inside of Karaoke, watching out for the push on the outer balcony.
These repels have been devastating so far from Wild, regularly picking themselves up at least a kill from that repel, catching those Liquid players as they cross in and around the sites. Again, it's a slower round here from Wild. They are demonstrating that restraint. They've already got the wall open, so they don't really need to concern themselves too much with any jobs that they've got to do now. But they are going to have to go up against a slightly different landscape. Palu's brought the Azami this time, which of course gives a lot of benefit in terms of fortifying certain areas and just making it a little bit more difficult for attackers to perform that roam clear. That roam clear is going to start happening from that east side as they start to move through into Drum. And they are going to be met with a little bit of resistance. There's a bit of utility there to get through. It shouldn't take too much, but it's still some utility nonetheless.
Jay, once again, still a bit of strike true with these nades. I believe that comes from down below still as well. This extended roam, still having to fear those up nades. And unfortunately cost them at least 1 player in this situation. Zombie barricades, though, holding things back quite nicely on the edge of that door, but I believe it has been open. Wild doesn't necessarily want to test it, however, as we've already seen that first phone call go out, and now we're going to see the second one get deployed pretty quickly, too. Kaneo able to make up another kill already as he takes out the second member of Team Liquid, bringing them down just to 3. Wild continue to dominate this early round, taking massive control over it, really with only that first entry being lost on the previous round here. Things have looked swimmingly for the Wild roster. Aside from this, they're going to try and continue this. Corey now moves over towards the staircase. PSK will be able to get 1, but he is instantly traded by Kaneo, bringing it down to just 2 now for Liquid, and 1 already heavily injured as Palu sits at about 20 HP.
Palu could still be in a really good position here. I'm not sure if Wild exactly know where he is. Reset's obviously not in position to take multiple engagements here, given that he's got the DMR. He's getting flashed out downstairs, and Palu has to make a rotation. He was low health, he was only 1 shot, and he's been immediately downed in process. Last kill.
The confidence they needed to push all the way up to the Karaoke side of things, were then obviously had to work a little bit harder to clear out the extended game there, but still went well. And Liquid, they've seemingly run out of gas here. Just going to try the 4th and final site they haven't played into yet in the downstairs bedroom, and hope that this will bear fruit for them to try and pick up their first round.
They're really just desperately searching for anything right now. There's no sign of, you know, any sort of significant strategy coming out. You know, when you're plugging up a doorway with 3 Azamis and a bit of barbed wire, things are looking a little bit desperate. You know, you're looking for players to announce that they're coming through that door, and that's great. You get that announcement. But Liquid, I don't even feel like Liquid have been in a gunfight yet. I don't feel like there has been a straight head-to-head gunfight. The info game, exactly.
It, though.
The info game from Wild has just been fantastic. The use of drones, figuring out where these players are. We're about to see a little bit of a run out here from Ask. Is the going getting tough?
He's going to be edging himself in here to try and see if he can maybe catch the repel. We'll have to wait and see how it'll work out. Nade going to come through from the attacking side as well. They read into that far too quickly. And as a result of that, that aggressive position from Liquid is not going to be able to maintain itself. Wild as well has got something special cooked up here. They're going to rush in with 3 players. Not the greatest start to it, though. Ness catches it off. Trades are continuing to roll in. Jay going to be the only one to find success, but still, the team will get themselves into the site with at least 2 players in. A third will be joining them with the diffuser soon as well, so what a strike from Wild. Problem is, though, they've got to deal with resistance from up on top still, as they did not clear out Palu or any other members of Team Liquid from above.
Palu waited just a little bit too long there for that nade. He eventually gets the kill onto Corey, but the damage has been done. The plant has gone down. Jay and Kaneo scurrying themselves outside. Only Kaneo left. Does have the SMG-12 in hand. It's not the greatest weapon in terms of recoil, but he picks himself up too. 2 versus 1. Now he keep on coming. Stop feeding him, Liquid. Reset, can you get the job done? No, what is just
so Wild, so difficult to keep a grasp on, but still, they're able to get it done and lock in. Round number 5 for Wild here. 1 away now from the 6-0, and they realistically can easily get it here as we're going back to karaoke again, where Wild have already had success 2 times in a row on the attack.
I'm almost at a loss for words there. Wild are going to be riding high at this moment in time. They're going to be feeling extremely good about themselves. 5 clean rounds on the attack. Liquid had business winning 1 of them and essentially just threw it. You can't call that anything more than what it was.
Yeah.
You can't all peep somebody 1 at a time. You could have just stuck someone defusing. Make it push you.
Liquid, yeah, you could have stopped the defuse fairly easily as well. You mentioned that, right? Palu throwing that impact down just way too late, not able to catch the correct
I think he was waiting
position.
for info.
Yep.
Maybe waiting for info that was just never coming. But even in that 4 versus 1, just get somebody disabling the diffuser and have the other 3 guys just watch. They don't need to get the kill. Do you think people are chasing kills because they're after that kill leader prize?
That 100K extra here. Just abandoning the team strategy, going for the solo reward at this tournament. We'll have to see if that was the case for Liquid, but things are just not working out for them so far on this defensive half, and they only have 1 more round to try and claim anything here before Wild gets to take up that mantle. Active resistance coming in over here towards Geisha, however, as they try to block things out. Our attackers should be able to get past that without too much of an issue, though, as we still are going to have the Thatcher to assist the Thermite. PSK able to hold on his own, but not for too long, though. Geisla's in the same room. He's going to be able to trade it out, but Ask, as well as Ask again here, going to have great success with the shotgun, stopping the push coming in from balcony side.
If you're a Liquid fan, don't get too excited just yet. Corey is in a 1 versus 4, and yes, it has been done before. Is he going to be able to pull it off this time? No.
As well as the international scene by getting this stunning victory against Team Liquid. They're at G8. Wild, of course, now on the defensive side. The half has concluded. I'm going to throw us an interesting one to start off. They're not going to go for the usual expected start over inside the karaoke side of the map. Instead, we will see the play into the office end. Still on the 2nd floor, of course, but just personal preference for this team. No reason why it won't work out for them. Interesting operator selection, too. We are going to see the Clash come out here. This is a pretty claustrophobic site on the main ways that a lot of attacking teams will look to work their way into it. So the Clash actually has some great potential to work out pretty well here, in my opinion.
If in doubt, bring a shield out. It's exactly what you want to be trying to do here. And Wild are recognizing that, hey, we have got an extremely good round advantage, on Team Liquid here. We've got an opportunity to try and get this done quite quickly and without letting too many things slip. So sure, we can try a Clash for a round. We've got to stop Kaneo getting so many kills at some point. You know, the guy's 9-2 right now, for goodness sake. Someone's got to slow him down a little bit. You know, you'd look maybe toward Aces or Corey for a few frags, but maybe they will come on the defensive side. We're going to see Liquid's approach here. A little bit similar in a lot of ways. They're going to be bringing the Flores. That's not something that we really did see Wild make too much use of, but Flores fantastic for that drone game, fantastic for that utility burn as well.
So we'll wait and see how Liquid will be able to potentially use that. The Clash as well, waiting for its potential opportunity to make impact. The first barricade going to be knocked out there by the Selma to give the players on Team Liquid the room they need to operate on the inside of this building, especially from that repelled angle. The Clash looking to potentially make a play here together with the Jaeger. The Jaeger actually being actively supported by the Clash right now, so an interesting strategy being built up by Wild. Very much want to see this get into a fight and see what exactly Kaneo can do to try and support the position of Aces, should that all come to bear. But we still will have to wait some time before we get to that point. Liquid have been quite slow, and with good reason, too. They're going to know for sure that Wild will have a lot of confidence being built up off that previous half, and more than likely they're expecting plays like that from Jay. The quick leap out, no support as well because the nearest teammate was working on opening up something else, so it's going to be a free kill for Wild to start out the second half.
Reset's giving himself away a little bit softly there, not anticipating such an aggressive play from Jay. But you know what Wild are going to be like? They're going to be explosive. They're going to be flying themselves out of windows given the option. Nesk looking to maybe try and find that refrag as he looks to approach in through Drum. To the top of those main stairs at the moment. Not really wanting to work too far ahead of those drones though. PSK going to be jumping into a Rotero just to see if there's anything that he can gather. Gets an eyes on the clash, but not before Jay picks up his second, taking down Nesk.
I think we're going to see Kaneo try to push himself out here. Allow for Aces to make impact, but once again, Liquid failing at every opportunity here. Unfortunately, Ass tries to swing into Wild territory and immediately is shut down by Gisela. We are going to see another one of these Rotero drones fend off the presence from Aces as well as Kaneo. They're certainly aware of this setup as well at this point. Palu trying to chuck a nade in there. He'll get his opponent out of position as well. That is finally going to flush Jay into a potentially vulnerable spot, but there's not enough follow-through on Liquid to try and take him down, nor is there enough team support to warrant it either. Only 2 players left. The round could very much end right now, but they need to eliminate this player for 2 reasons. 1, he's standing directly in their way of the site, and 2, they're quickly running out of time. Only 20 seconds remain here for Liquid to at least start the plant procedure, or Wild will take this one by default. Jay as well, not even really needing to do much, just maintaining his presence, bleeding time off the clock. They'll go for a team play to be able to knock him out. Great flash maneuver from Liquid, but they just have no time left. Only 3 seconds to get themselves in. This is absolutely not going to happen. Wild will shut it down.
This is a great map for Liquid. Is it a great map for Wild? I guess time will tell. But there is still the small matter of closing out Skyscraper, and although it is extremely likely that Wild do that at the moment, there is still a chance here for Liquid, but they just haven't looked too sharp yet today. It's almost as if they're just looking a little bit sluggish in my opinion. They really need to get that little bit more oomph that we're used to seeing, Blue.
We were seeing a point from the desk as well. I think some of us were talking about it before the game started with the fact that Liquid might have just been underestimating Wild considering the reputation coming into this one. And I think that's really a true point here. Liquid just stunted in quite a few situations here, not really knowing even how to handle the executes from Wild in the first half. Obviously, we've only seen 1 round for the defense, so I don't want to judge them too harshly here, but a bit lost on that defensive side, and unfortunately seems like things are only continuing here now as we move into the second half.
I enjoy the conversation that was going on from Tristan where Wild have been contacted by a few teams saying, oh, you know, will you be our scrim partners when you get knocked out? Because they're anticipated to be knocked out first.
Wonder if the same offer applies the other way.
The first game of the tournament, it's like, oh yeah, like, we just picked up, you know, 5 clean rounds against Liquid and we're set to win Skyscraper 7-1. Like, yeah, sure, it's 1 map, but it's looking like it's going to be a pretty good best of 3 from Wild already. It'll be quite kind of nice replying to those DMs tonight and just going, you're all right, I think we'll use you as a scrim partner instead.
So let's see if Wild can complete this set and stun Team Liquid with a 7-1 victory on the first map of the tournament here. Certainly picking into this one with a bit of confidence, and we'll have to see how that carries through onto our second map for Chalet as well. Neo here already going a bit wild with his positioning, trying to look for any of the early clears from Liquid. But once again, Liquid being quite cautious with how they approach this year. Going to have to, of course, deal with the extended setup above the site, which is, of course, in Barbecue for this round. Still going to need to clear out areas like Geisha, like Karaoke, which are going to continue to stand in the way of a successful play from Team Liquid here. Wild sits more than ready to handle that challenge, though, and you can see again here from Liquid a lack of confidence in trying to clear this out. They really want to play in for heavy intel before they actually make the play, and that's causing a huge sink of time, just like we saw on the last round, nearly down to a minute already. And I don't even think we have a single player from Liquid moving into this area of the map just yet.
A lot of pressure on Geisha window. Gisela knows that somebody's going to be there. The nade comes in. Great burn. Good team play from Liquid to get that job done. It was not easy, though, and Nesk really did put himself at a lot of risk. It does, however, pick up that first kill and that opener. The C4 already burnt from Gisela as well, so no longer a factor. Liquid needs to do exactly what Wild did, and that is get those kills from the repels, get that utility launched into the map, and really pick up those, air quote, freebies as often as you can. Resets, he's in a great spot here, just looking to push himself in. Ace is just on the other side of the reinforcement, whiffs a few, but lands onto PSK, finishes off with the shotgun and draws for more, picks up 2, but Resets is in position to shut him down and level things out ahead of this last 25 seconds.
That's the important part of that second kill, evening things out, making this next pickup from Resets. Yeah, it's unfortunate for a while, but it doesn't knock them out of the round entirely. Even moving away from this, we got Choi as well playing with your shotgun here. We're gonna have to see how this one works out, and it's gonna work out brilliantly from the corner, picks up one, downs another, and knocks them out, leaving it all on to resets. Less than 5 seconds to play into it as well. Joytus has to hide this one out, and he'll still be ready for the challenge if he made it in time. Not gonna see that come through, and Wild claim control over the first map of this series.
Some of the players from Wild there almost look a little bit stunned, Blue. Like, have we really just done it? That's Liquid. That's the team that
Corey's like still giggling right now. Like, we just 7-1